Welcome, welcome everyone. My name is Chef Ginger. I am here at the Lazy Acres Market in their Pier Room. I am super excited to share this pan-seared scallop recipe with you. I'm doing it over a pea puree and honey roasted carrots. You can find all the ingredients at the top of this video in the comment section. And be sure you wash your hands before you get started. So let me review the ingredients and the tools that you're gonna need. Here we go. So pan-seared scallops, I have about 8 to 10. You need a high heat cooking oil or olive oil. I'm using avocado oil. A couple tablespoons of butter, a shallot, a bag of English peas. If you can't find English peas, go ahead and use frozen peas. A cup of veggie broth, 3 cloves of garlic, a tablespoon or 2 of chives, a bag of carrots. I use 1 pound and I like the rainbow carrots. Some cooking spray, honey, ginger, parsley, salt and pepper, always salt and pepper. The utensils you're gonna need is a baking sheet, a bowl, a whisk, a skillet, a knife, a high-speed blender if you have it. We need to puree the pea puree, so you want a high-speed blender. No chunks. You need tongs, a spatula, measuring cup, measuring spoons, a couple plates. All right, let's get started. So before we start cooking, take a deep breath in, get grounded, get centered, get all your ingredients in order, and let's get cooking. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on the oven to 400 degrees. So preheat your oven to 400 degrees. We're gonna start with the carrots. This is a really fast recipe. So we're gonna start with the carrots. Grab your mixing bowl after you turn your oven on. Get your whisk and your olive oil or high heat oil. We're gonna pour a couple tablespoons into your bowl of olive oil, and then we're gonna drizzle a couple tablespoons of honey into the mixing bowl. Now, you can mince your ginger, or if you have one of these babies, you can just grate some ginger into the bowl. These carrots are so delicious. You're gonna get some spice from the ginger. Everyone needs a little more ginger. So we're gonna add some extra spice. Obviously, you get the sweetness from the honey. Honey is high in vitamin B. Ginger is an anti-inflammatory. It's really good for you. So we're gonna just grate that in. I like leaving the skin on. Don't worry about peeling the skin. So we got a couple tablespoons of ginger. We're gonna mix that around, add some salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Mix it around, and we're taking our carrots and tossing the carrots right in the mixture. And go ahead and get your hands in it. Feel free, get your hands in it. We're gonna get our cooking sheet. I'm using a half a sheet, but feel free to get a cooking sheet. We're gonna spray it a little bit so the honey doesn't stick. And we're tossing the carrots around in the mixture and pouring that right on the cooking sheet. So these rainbow carrots are really delicious and they look beautiful on the plate. It's a fantastic presentation. But if you have the purple ones, keep them separate because they will bleed onto the white. So keep those separate. So that's done, really easy. And we're gonna just throw this in the oven. 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. So these carrots are small, so you want 25 minutes roasting time. If they're a little thicker, you can go up to 30, 35 minutes. All right. Nice and hand. Carrots go in the oven 25 minutes. There we go. Moving on to our pea puree. This is delicious with the scallops on top. So what we want to do is get our shallot. So we have our shallot. Using our tunnel hand, we're going to cut it right down the middle. Here's the root. You want to leave the root on. We're going to tunnel hand and slice it right down the middle. Then we take the top, cut it up. Toss. And peel. Peel our shallot. We're going to mince these shallots. It's a delicious recipe. Carrots are high in beta carotene, which is great for your eyes, as you know. They're great for blood pressure, lowers blood pressure, heart health. These shallots, so we use our palm and we slice right down the middle of the shallot. Again with the tunnel hand. We're going to do about 3 slices and then we rock. So we leave the root on and then we rock back and forth till we get a minced shallot, just like that, and then we throw the root away. Again, so we use our palm hand, slice right down the middle, leaving the root on. We'll do 3 slices. This is how you chop an onion as well. Claw, rock back and forth, throwing the root away. There we have it. Getting your pot and turning your pot onto a medium-high heat. Medium-high heat. There we go. Olive oil. We're going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil into the pot. Heating up that olive oil first. And then we're going to add our shallots. So I'm going to wait for that to get hot. Love these English peas. While that's getting warmed up, get your veggie broth. We need 1 cup of the veggie broth. And we do not need a lid for this top. So we have 1 cup of veggie broth, 3 cloves of garlic. That should be nice and hot now. So the olive oil is hot. And we just throw the shallots in. Right into the pot. So we're keeping that on medium-high. And the garlic. So we don't need to mince this garlic since we're blending it. We're going to leave them whole. So to get the skin off, we just bang it with the back of a knife. And then go ahead and toss it into the pot. These cloves are pretty big, but I like a lot of garlic. Okay, garlic into the pot. Everything's going in. We're going to add our peas. More garlic. Skin off, garlic in. Adding our peas. 1 bag of peas. Again, you can use the English peas or get a bag of frozen peas. But I like the fresh English peas if you can find them. They have them here at Lazy Acres. So everything is going into the pot, medium-high. We are going to add some salt and pepper. Salt. Always adding salt and pepper. Do not underestimate the power of salt. We need it. Okay, we're going to stir that around. And adding our veggie broth. So that's going to marinate and saute on a medium-high heat No lid for about 10 minutes. We want the peas nice and soft. Everything in there is going to get nice and soft. And then we're going to put it into the blender and make our pea puree. So moving on to our scallops. They have beautiful wild-caught scallops here at Lazy Acres. I want you to find a place, if you love scallops, it's very particular where you buy them. You don't want to get frozen scallops if you're going to sear them, because you want it to have a nice golden sear on the top. When you're picking out a scallop, you want to look at the shape. It needs to be circled, nice circle. If they're a little out of shape, if they're a little sticky, or if they smell, don't get it. You can always ask the person behind the counter. And also, the scallops always have the muscle on it, and you want to pull this muscle off because it gets chewy. This is what's attached to the shell, so we're always pulling these off. So go through your scallops and pull the little muscle part off. Okay, all these scallops look beautiful. Like I said, they have wild-caught scallops here. Okay, now we're turning on the pan. We want to get this pan going to a medium-high heat. And we want the scallops to be nice and dry. So, turning the pan on, dry those scallops, get a paper towel, make sure there's no liquid, and then we're going to put some salt and pepper right on the top. Right on the top. We always heat up the pan first before we put the oil in the pan. Otherwise, you're just cooking and burning off that oil. And especially since it's high heat, we want the pan nice and hot. So we're turning the scallops over. Again, salt and pepper. Perfect. So our peas should be bubbling right about now. The pan, scallop pan's nice and hot. Again, I'm using the high heat oil. I'm using avocado oil. A couple tablespoons in, not too much. Once this pan is nice and hot, you want to put your scallops in. So what I like to do is I like to start at 12 o'clock and then go all the way around with the scallops, so I know which one came in first, because it's a quick sear. You want to start with 12, go all the way around. So here we go. Going all the way around. This one still has a muscle on it. There we go. Okay. There you have it. Now we don't touch them. Leave them like that. You just watch and wait. Yay, everything is being cooked. In the meantime, I like chives on top. So we're going to take our chives and make little tiny round circles with these chives. So you want to line these up just like this. Take your knife and just rock back and forth. Beautiful on the top of the scallops. So there we have our chives, and now we're gonna slice some parsley for our carrots. Getting a nice sear on these scallops. And pan, we're gonna chop or mince some parsley. It's going on top of our carrots. You always want to start with a sharp knife. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp. Otherwise, you're using too much pressure to chop things. We don't want that. So we have our parsley, we have our chives, our pea puree is sauteing. Super excited about that. It's gonna be delicious, beautiful meal. We get our tongs. So depending on the size, you're gonna wanna sear these for 2 minutes. Like I said, you want a nice golden brown on the top. What I like to do is sear it on a high heat for about 2 minutes. And then when I flip it over, I turn the heat down to low, and then I add about a tablespoon of butter. So at Lazy Acres, they have a garlic herb butter here that you can find over by the butcher, over by the fish in the refrigerated section. This is a delicious butter. It makes everything so much more flavorful. So we got our nice sear. I started at 12 o'clock. So I'm just checking the top of this. I want to see if that works. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. So these ones are pretty thick, so they need to cook for about 4 minutes. You don't want to overcook your scallops. Make sure you don't overcook them. And again, you want to leave the top off of the pea puree. Couple more seconds on this. Awesome. It's on a high heat. It's gonna look beautiful. And I'm gonna start to flip them now. So let me show you in the camera. This is kind of what they should look like that. I started at 12 and then I go all the way around. The tongs are going to be the best for you to use if you have the tongs. If not, go ahead and use a spatula. Flipping those scallops over, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter, turning down the heat first. Getting a tablespoon of butter, or 2 tablespoons. If you like butter, add a little bit more. Like I said, this garlic butter is delicious. It smells so good in here. So making sure that the butter goes all around the scallops. And then we're just gonna let that cook for about 2 more minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna get our blender ready. The pea puree is just about done cooking. Before we blend that, we're gonna toss the carrots a little bit. Make sure they're doing okay. So pull them out of the oven. This looks and smells delicious. Okay. Putting them back in the oven. Like I said, the smaller they are, the less time they need in the oven. Okay, so the pea puree is just about done cooking. Now, if you like a little bit of spice, you can put a dash of cayenne pepper into the pea puree like I like to do, or maybe some red pepper chili flakes, or you could just leave it like this. So you want them nice and cooked, and then we're just adding the entire thing into the blender. For a touch of creaminess, I like to add just a little bit of this garlic butter. garlic and herb butter. Getting your top. It's going to get a little bit loud in here. We're going to blend on hot. There we have it. It's nice and creamy and done. Look at the consistency. So we want to check this consistency here. So if you have a high-speed blender, it's going to look really thick and creamy, the consistency. Like I said, they go perfect. Peas and carrots. This is my play on peas and carrots. So I'm going to blend that for just a little bit more to make it smooth. We want it as smooth as possible. The scallops are done, so I'm going to turn the heat off completely and let it sit in the pan. Putting the lid back on, blending this a little bit longer. Okay, carrots are almost done. Pea puree, that fast. This recipe is very quick. We don't have a lot of time to mess around in the kitchen. We want things quick. Okay. Pea puree is done. Here's how I like to put it on the plate. Plating is a big deal because we eat with our eyes first. So you want to take your pea puree while it's hot, put it on the plate, and make a nice smear. I'm going to move this plate over so you get a good view. Don't worry, Mecca, I just read your mind. Okay. Getting a nice smear. So you want to take your spoon. How do we do this? We take our spoon, we put a big dollop right on the top corner, just like this. Got a good visual here? A good dollop, just like that. Maybe adding a little bit more, because the scallops are going to go right on top of this pea puree. There we go. I'm going to taste and see what we need. It's delicious. Very garlicky, which I love. And like I said, if you want to add more heat, you can put in just a dash, not too much, of cayenne pepper. Now we're going to take our seared scallops and place them right over the top. Right over the top, depending on how much you want to eat. These ones are really big. I'm going to put 3 on each plate. These ones are very big. So how do you know when they're done? When the pink turns to iridescent all the way through the middle, that's how you know when they're done. Do not overcook your scallops because then they get chewy. We don't want that. We have our chives. Sprinkling some chives right on top. It's an easy, beautiful presentation. Anybody can do it. Now we're getting our carrots out of the oven. They should be done. Placing our carrots right on top of the plate. That's a big one. We'll do this one. These honey roasted ginger carrots. So good. It smells delicious in here. I can't wait to eat this. And we have our parsley. We're going to sprinkle the parsley right on top. There we have it. Okay, what I like to do is put a little salt and pepper over the top. Salt and pepper. And that is it. So with these carrots, we have the honey, sweet flavor mixed with the salt and the ginger, roasted in the oven. So delicious. And we have these pan-seared scallops. We use the garlic herb butter. Oh, I love it. And the pea puree. That's it. That's your plate. And it took like 25 minutes at the most to cook. So there you have it. So if you're making this recipe, make sure that you take a picture of your dish and post it on Instagram. And when you do, make sure that you tag us at Lazy Acres Market, Hermosa Beach. Lazy Acres Market Facebook page. My name is Ginger. My company is called Ginger's Healthy Habits. And remember, if you're eating this well, take a moment for some gratitude, because most people in the world don't get to eat like this. It's so delicious. Beautiful meal. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thank you. Have a wonderful, blessed day.